What is up, guys? Brazzy here, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the team that disappoints me a lot, Arsenal Football Club. So earlier today actually, we played against Burnley, and we drew 0-0. Honestly, it's just very, very upsetting, very disappointing, very bad results. Today was a crucial game. Yesterday we saw Man United win their 4th place. A win today would have brought us to the top 4 before our next game against Wolves, putting us in a good position. We've been playing very poor this month. Went against Man City, we were very good in that first half. Rash decisions and that referee decisions not going our way, and Man City ends up winning the game. Unfortunate. Then you follow that up with a performance like Nottingham Forest, where we were poor from minute 1 to minute 90. And I was like, alright, hopefully this is just like a blip. It's disappointing that we're out of the FA Cup this early once again to Nottingham Forest. It's happened, 3 times in the past 4 years. And it hasn't happened like that in ever before that. So, very disappointing. EFL Cup, first leg against Liverpool, went down a man thanks to Xhaka getting himself sent off. Held our ground at Anfield to draw the game 0-0, and go back to the Emirates with 11 men. Got another player sent off in that one, but we're already 2-0 down by then. We lose that game 2-0. Very disappointing performance. Started off the game brightly, but couldn't capitalize. And today, a game against Burnley. I'm like, how Burnley's gonna play. Burnley's the only team in the Premier League that people want to be relegated. This team's tactics are so ugly, so annoying to play against. You know what they're gonna do, especially against the big top 6, top 8 teams. They're gonna play a low block and force you to cross the ball to the box, and they'll win every header because their players are massive. Happened today again. Arsenal fell right into their trap, and besides a minute or 15 minutes of madness in the second half where we're rampant on them, it didn't happen. So today's match, I'm basically going to break down what happened basically and my thoughts in general on the game and of Arsenal as a whole, because to be honest, this team is in a little bit of a crisis. A lot of injuries, players out in AFCON and players leaving the team, and I'm going to discuss all that today. So we see the lineup today. Ramsdale starting, rightly so. Back 4, Ben White, Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney. Now, questionable. I wouldn't have started Holding. I would have played Chambers if he was on the bench. Yeah, he was on the bench. I know he just came out from injury. I would have played Chambers instead of Holding at center back. I didn't think he would do too bad today, Holding though. But Chambers did well against Liverpool, and I would have played him instead of him. Now, this is where the problem is, right? We knew that Thomas Partey and Nene were going to Anfield to AFCON. We're saying that in the beginning of the season, they're going to AFCON. We knew that. We knew that was going to happen. We knew Pepe was going to go there. We knew Aubameyang was going to go there. We knew it was going to happen. They were going to leave sooner rather than later. It was just inevitable. And I was a little bit worried. I was like, look, you don't have a central midfielder to replace them during the winter. That's not really safe. But I was like, okay. In the beginning of the season, I was like, okay, maybe Milan could play there. Xhaka, Lokonga, then we do have a little bit of cover there. There's only a couple of games. We should be fine. But then fast forward to January, after the win against Norwich, we look at this team, and I'm like, wow. We have one central midfielder available. Odegaard's not a central midfielder. He isn't. He's a 10. He plays behind the striker. Smith Rowe is a 10/winger. He's not a central midfielder either. And Lokonga is still raw. And honestly, with Lokonga, I don't think he's that good yet. I think he has a lot of potential, but he's very raw. Very, very raw. And he's older, He's not 19. He's 22. So, with him, there's sparks in him. I do think that, he just needs a season to, assimilate himself in the league. But, he's a player that you shouldn't have to rely on. He's a player that you bring FA Cup games, EFL Cup games, that kind of player. He shouldn't be a mainstream backup, But he is. Right now, he's our only midfielder. Saka and Martinelli they've been playing since December 9th. I think the game against Everton, or the game after Everton, whatever game it was after Everton, I can't remember. We played West Ham, was it? No, Southampton. We played Southampton. The game started Southampton. He started that game. Osaka started that game, and they've been playing every game since that. So obviously they're gonna run them to the ground. They have no other wingers, and why is that? We shouldn't only have 3 wingers available, and I understand that their injuries have been an issue. You know, Smith Rowe's been out in and out of the team. Pepe's an AFCON, but we have attackers available. Balogun could play on the wing, and you know, he loaned them out. You know, Aubameyang could play on the, I know he was an AFCON, so not supposed to be here, but you know, he could play on the wing. He could play at the 9, and he's out. He's not on the team. You know. And then we have Lacazette tonight. We know that Lacazette's not going to get you more than 20 goals a season. He's a very good hard worker off the ball, good person to bring off the bench. But you go back to that game that we played against Spurs back in 2018, where he had 2 great chances to win that game for us, and he couldn't do it. He missed both of them. One of them was fair enough. He missed the second one. I don't know how you're missing that. Today, the same thing happens. He's just not clinical enough. Had a great opportunity. ESR makes a great run on the left-hand side, gets past the defender, sets the ball up perfectly for him. Nick Pope is done for. The goal is wide open, and he misses. I couldn't believe it. With Burnley, you don't get that many chances, and it's not like Norwich. It's not like Leeds, where you know they're gonna give you a lot of space on time on the ball. Burnley, they'll give you all the time, but once it goes to the final third, you don't really get that much time. And that one effort, you put a Vlahovic in there, you put a Isaac in there, even put an Aubameyang in there, they're scoring. There's no way they're missing that. Aubameyang has been on horrendous form this season, and I know that because I watch Arsenal week in, week out. Put Aubameyang in that position, he's scoring. The goal is open, you cannot miss that, and that's the problem with Lacazette. I feel like he does so much off the ball, but when it's time to get on the ball, you know, he's either not there or he is scuffing the chances. Had a good chance against Liverpool, missed it. Had a chance today, missed it. You know, had some good chances in the other games that we didn't really talk about because the other players were scoring and missed it. We're finding out Martinelli and Saka getting tired, and you know it's affecting the team because they're only attacking outlets. Odegaard has been playing so well, but it's gone so unnoticed because you know we're losing and we're not winning games. He's playing the position. He's doing the party role and the 10 role. Because ESR can't do it for some reason. He hasn't been doing it well. ESR drifts to the left a lot. And, you know, ESR hasn't been playing well, you know, and he's just coming back from injury, so it's understandable, but, you know, it's annoying. Now, this defeat could go for a lot of people. There's a lot to blame. There's a lot to blame for this defeat. Lacazette is to blame. You know, should be scoring. Kieran Tierney was absolutely horrendous today. Didn't overlap Martinelli one time. And I was like, why are you scared of overlap? I understand Ben White not overlapping because, you know, he's a center back. But Tierney, you're really good at that. It's like, he wasn't doing it today. And I was like, what is going on? So these two were supposed to be our more, you know, first team players. We're very disappointed today. Ramsdale was a little shaky today, I can't even lie. He's been shaky for the past couple of weeks. That's first goal against Liverpool. He should be doing better there. But today he kept a clean sheet. But, you know, still, you know, Saka, he could have done better today. Martinelli had, like, no service because Tierney wasn't overlapping. Ben White's, you know, not a right back. But, you know, we're not supposed to be in this position. We look at teams like Manchester United. We played yesterday. They went against West Ham. West Ham is another team competing for the top 4. Marcus Rashford comes off the bench, wins the game for them. They can afford. Today we brought off Nketiah. They had Alanga, Greenwood, and Fred. They brought on Martial, Rashford, and Cavani. Van de Beek on the bench. Sancho's not here, but you know he's a player that they could bring off the bench. These are world beaters they're bringing off the bench. You look at the bench that we had today. Just a bunch of kids. And I understand that we have injuries, but a lot of players that we let go right now could be playing. Maitland-Niles could be really useful in the midfield. He had a great game against Watford, and we just never seen him ever again. Same thing with, other players. Balogun could have been useful today. He could play on the wing. He could play at the 9. He could have been useful today. I think he's more. Honestly, I think he is more clinical than Nketiah, but I just don't think he's better all around. I think Nketiah still has that advantage over him because he's more experienced. But Balogun could have been a player we could bring off the bench to do something. And you look at our bench. Besides that, we had Leno, Nuno, defensive players, Callum Chambers, Eddie Nketiah, Ryan Aliboso. I never even heard of this kid. No disrespect to him, but I've never heard of him. Beerith. We called him back from whatever team he was loaned out to. I think he was loaned out to. We had him and didn't trust him. We had Saladin, didn't get a look in. Omari Hutchinson didn't get a look in. Charlie Patino, they're never gonna play in this type of games because they shouldn't be. And it's just disappointing. So that performance was very upsetting, but we're gonna see what Arsenal can do, to fix up. So the first thing is, we're talking about blame here. We're talking about blame. Who gets blamed for this? The first person that we really can blame is Arteta, right? He's a manager. He's gonna get the blame first. And for today, I really don't think he did much wrong besides taking off Smith Rowe. No, that's false. Time out. He definitely did stuff wrong. He took off Smith Rowe, who was going to the game, and I understand maybe why he took him off. He's just coming back from injury, might be a little fatigued, all that stuff. But then, the tactics that you play today, you're going to play your style, and bro is going to read you out. He singled out our wingers and forces us across the ball to a 5'9" striker. It's just not going to work, right? He could have changed something. He didn't do anything. Didn't change anything. Give the kids a chance. Beerith is a pretty big guy. I don't understand how he's not playing, but I know he's a big person. Put him out there, see what he can do. It's better off seeing what they can do than drawing the game 0-0. Something I would have done, maybe switch Saka and Martinelli, just test the water, see how Peters will deal with Martinelli, Roberts will deal with Saka. Just do something. And Plan A didn't work, but he stuck with it. I don't remember the last time Arsenal came back to win a game. Like being 1-0 down or whatever to win, and then coming back to win the game. I don't think we've ever done that under Arteta. I think we've only drawn games. I don't think we've come back to win a game under Arteta. I cannot remember a game that we've done that in the Premier League. I could think of a couple. I think the Villarreal. I think we did that against Benfica, but I cannot remember a game where we were goal down and we actually won in the Premier League under Arteta. No comebacks ever. And that's because Plan A doesn't work. There's no Plan B. So it falls on Arteta. Obviously, we talked about the players: Tierney, Martinelli, Saka, all of them doing poorly. But the main problem for me, the main reason why we didn't win today was because of Edu. Edu Gaspar, technical director, has one job, and is to facilitate transfers for this team. He let go of Maitland Niles, he let go of Pablo Mari, he let go of Balogun, Kolasinac. 4 players that we let go of this month, and not one replacement. And mind you, none of these players really. These players would have been on the bench mostly, but you're letting all these people go and you're not replacing them. Look at how thin our team is. Arsenal's first 11 is good enough to win top 4. But if anybody gets injured or sent off, then that's a problem. We know Xhaka's game. We knew that Partey and then they were going to AFCON, and we know that Xhaka, is rash and he gets himself sent off, but you still trust him. And that's a problem. Disciplinary issues, getting himself sent off left, right, center. Xhaka choked. It was a Burnley player. I think it was Westwood that he choked last season. He was benched, or he got suspended for 3 games. Got right back into the team. But again, Dude does the same thing, gets sent off. And I'm not trying to pick pick favorites for players, but obviously we know Xhaka and Arteta loves Xhaka for some reason. You know, he's a good professional, comes into practice on time, example for the younger players. But these things, you know, on the field, you can't, like, you have to punish him for that. You have to hold him accountable for the same thing that the other players do. Aubameyang comes in late to practice and all that stuff, you're punishing him for that. You know, Guendouzi having disciplinary issues, you're punishing him for that. Pepe not playing well, getting himself sent off against Leeds United, you're calling him out in the media and punishing him for that. Xhaka getting himself sent off, oh, he's a professional. You know, you can't pick and choose who you want to punish. You know, you have to punish everybody equally. And if you want to change the culture of this team, you have to make sure that all the rules apply equally to every player. And I mean, I know I'm supposed to be talking about it, but like, Arteta needs to realize that. Now, we know Xhaka's game. We know he got to get himself sent off, and we're already there in the midfield. The first thing as technical director would have been, we're already short in the midfield. The first thing I will do, I know that Partey gets injured. I know Onani's not good enough. I know Lukonga's raw, and I know Xhaka's game. That's 4 factors that you know, okay, I need to get a midfielder. So if anything, if tip goes up, we have backup. No midfielder. We've been negotiating with Arthur for 3 weeks now for a loan move. If he doesn't want to come, if you really don't want to loan him out, move on. There are other midfielders. With strikers, there's a little difference. You know, we want to get Vlahovic. I didn't think we need a striker till today, but it's evident that we need a striker. We want to get Dusan Vlahovic, and you know, I think he'll be a great player for us. He's kind of like Harry Kane when it comes to like playing style. You know, good hold up on the ball, clinical finisher, and still very young. That's gonna take a while to do. You know, he's obviously a great player. And you know, who knows if he wants to come? But if he doesn't want to come, then move on. There are other players in the world. That's my problem. You're taking so long on one deal, and then eventually if they don't sign, then we're just screwed. It's happened to Arsenal so many times. We were linked with trying to negotiate a deal for Suarez. We don't sign Suarez, and then you know we don't sign a striker. Period. Same thing with Alexis Sanchez in the team. You know, he wants to leave. Get a bid from Man City, 60 million. We don't sell him because we want to sign a replacement first, and we're negotiating with the same player, and the player is taking his time. You have to go quickly with these things, you know. If you want Arthur, if you can't get Arthur, you have to have a plan B, and that's the problem. Arsenal has no plan B ever. Not on the field, off the field, nothing. No plan B on the field. You do the same thing until it works. No plan B off the field. So if your main target doesn't want to sign, you don't sign anybody else. Xhaka was supposed to go to Roma this summer. We're supposed to replace him with a better player. Ruben Neves decided to stick with him for some reason, and look at where we are. We need the midfielder ASAP, even if it is Arthur or somebody that can compete with with Partey and Xhaka for that starting position. You know. I know Xhaka's not gonna get dropped ever. I don't know why he plays. I don't know why he's in the team still, but I know he's a good player. You know, Xhaka's a player that I could see Arsenal bringing off the bench to see out a game, not a starter. So that's my thoughts on that. We need a center midfielder. I didn't know we needed a striker this bad until today. We have no clinical finishers. Lacazette had a chance to shoot, and he decided to pass the ball to Tierney. I'm like, what are you doing? You're a striker. Shoot that. So, you know, it's just weird. I'm like, we need a striker. We need a midfielder, and we need it like soon. It's the 23rd of January. It's been 23 days since the window has opened, and we haven't made any progress in making any signings. Same news with Lukonga, with Vlahovic. Same news with Arthur. Vlahovic is still unsure why he wants to go to Arsenal or not. He's trying to finish out the season. If he wants to do that, there's other targets. Move on. Arthur, Juventus want to get a replacement before getting him in, loaning him out. Now, that's understandable, but if you don't want him, if they're taking too long, then move on. They're different targets. You know, it's crazy. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. Next thing we're going to talk about is another factor that we got to talk about is Aubameyang. You know, Arsenal's not scoring goals. Of course, it's going to be brought back to Aubameyang. He's a striker. He's our main striker too. Mami has been very poor this season. But if you don't sign a striker, you're going to have to find a way to assimilate him back to the team. You can't just force him out for the rest of the season. You know, you can't do that. This is a player that's been playing. It's not like it's somebody that, like, you know, you're not really using. This is a player that has been playing for you for the past 2 seasons. At sometimes he was even undroppable. But, well, you don't want to put him back because of his discipline. You look at Lukaku's situation. Had a whole interview saying, "I love Inter more than I love Chelsea." Basically what he said. I know that's not exactly what he said, but, you know, praising Inter whilst being a Chelsea player. You know, praising the rival. I know Inter's not a direct rival, but that's a different franchise. Praising a different franchise over yours. And, you know, Tuchel and Lukaku shook hands and said, you know what? Lukaku apologized. Tuchel said, "All right, man, you're back in the team." Now he's playing. He's playing he starts. Aubameyang comes in late to practice. Arteta doesn't like it. I understand you have to punish him somehow, some way, but if your team is struggling like this, you're gonna have to find a way to bring him back into the team. I know he was supposed to be at AFCON, and you know he had the heart lesions and stuff like that, so that's why he's back in the team. But sooner or later he's gonna be back in. He has to be playing the team. You can't just leave him out and putting Beereth, Saladin, Patino on the bench when you're not even gonna play them. So you know these guys could be playing under 23 minutes, but they need to be on the bench. So yeah. So sooner or later, we're gonna have to find a way to put Aubameyang back to the first team because this can't go on for longer. And what else is there to discuss? I think that's basically it, to be honest. So next 8 days, 7 days is crucial for us. You know, we gotta make 2 signings minimum. We need a midfielder, central midfielder that could break up play. We need a striker, a clinical finisher. It doesn't have to be Arthur, and it doesn't have to be Vlahovic. We have other targets to do. A lot of these players are playing too much. Saka and Martinelli have been playing for so long, no breaks ever. You know, they're jaded, and then they get injured, and then what happens? So, we need to make sure that we get adequate backups or rotational players. I still don't understand why we haven't signed a midfielder in the 23rd. I think we're in the top 6. We're the team with the most need for a player for midfielders. Chelsea need wing backs because Reece James and Bencho are out with injury, but they have backups, Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta. We don't have any backups available. We really only have Lokonga, and we play with a midfield 3, and we only have 1 midfielder. No, it's not. I can't do that. That can't happen. Letting a goal Milan-Nice was a very dumb decision. I mean, I wouldn't mind letting him go if you got a replacement, but you didn't. So, you know, you got to figure out something out. You got to get a midfielder. Get a striker. That's going to be crucial now. Vlahovic is the one to sign? Sure. Calvert-Lewin is at Everton. They're in turmoil right now, in 16th. Put in a 50 million bid. They'll accept it because they need money. And, you know, I'm sure he will join because he'd much rather be playing for Arsenal than Everton. No disrespect to Everton. You know, if they've done well recently until now, but we're still a bigger team than them. You know. And we move on from there. That's basically what we got to do. Arteta's got to figure himself out. You know, he can't let his ego take over. You know, he want to change the culture of the team. You can't let your ego, you know, decide the team. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't like this guy, so I'm not gonna play him. Yeah, he did this, I'm not gonna play him. Punish them, bring them back into the team. You don't have to start them. You can bring them off the bench. Aubameyang shouldn't be starting. I don't think he should be starting. But you know, coming off the bench, make an impact. We had no player to come in to make an impact. Only 1 sub today. You know, not good enough. Not good enough. So, those are my thoughts on Arsenal today. Very poor today. Very disappointing. We should have seen this game out. You know, bottom of the table, Burnley, not good enough. And our next game is against Wolves. It's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be at Wolves as well. You know, they beat us there last year. And, you know, they're on very good form. When you talk about defensively sound, they're one of the best defensives in the league. Jose Sa is a very good goalkeeper for them. They're a very well-organized team. They don't score that many goals, but, you know, they can hit you. You can hit a sucker punch, so you need to be careful. I know they're going to Dubai. Sort yourselves out in there. Rest. Come back. And then, figure yourselves out. So, but these next 7 days for Arsenal, need to sign a midfielder, need to sign a striker. Crucial who they sign, however, but midfielder more than a striker. We need to make sure we sign a midfielder that can play in the midfield, and a striker that can score. That's his main job, to score. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what we do. Match week 23, 23rd of February. We're playing only 23 in the midfield. 23 is only midfielder. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Montpellier should be coming out either tomorrow or the day after that. A couple Legends coming out sometime this week. Hopefully I have the story finished and edited by then. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you on the next episode. Or see y'all in the next video. Peace.